How many of you guys are feeling optimistic? Do you think we're winning in the pro-life movement? Yes. All right. Well, then maybe you don't need to see all the data, but maybe this will encourage you a little bit. I think it's helpful to look at the images and to see that we are indeed winning. You know, I get the question about this a lot from the media because they like to think, you know, they want to write our obituary. They want to be done with this issue. You know, we're so pesky to them. It's like, come on, don't you know, America is pro-choice, get over it, let's just move on and quit talking about it. The truth of the matter is that despite the fact that abortion is the regime, the legal regime of our land, there is a lot that we can do to limit abortion right now, even before Roe v. Wade hits the ash heap of history. A lot of people don't know this great data that Michael New from the University of Alabama nailed down for us. He proved empirically that when parental involvement laws go into effect in a state, you get a 13 to 19% abortion decrease. Now hold on. You might have known that, but I don't know if you know this next slide, which is really, really key. When you move that to two-parent notification, you get a 31% abortion decrease. Come on, that's breathtaking. You know, when people ask me about the constitutional law work that our attorneys are doing, and they say, you know, does it really make a difference to pass a law that just fences abortion in? I point to this data and I say a 30% decrease, that's pretty rockin'. The truth of the matter is there's only 3 states right now, Minnesota, Mississippi, and North Dakota, that have this piece of legislation. So when people ask me, you know, what can we do? What can we do if we can't overturn Roe v. Wade tomorrow? I point to them and say, you know what? Only 3 states have this particular law. Let's get out there. Let's make a difference. Let's get some more of this going on. So what's exciting to me is I see the pro-life movement maturing and becoming more sophisticated. Marjorie mentioned that each one of the groups represented here today has been doing something that's really pushing the envelope. A virtual March for Life where people could go online and pick an avatar and they could be marching alongside the people who are physically here in Washington, D.C. To take a stand. Some people were coming back to me and saying, Charmaine, aren't you worried that that some people might not show up? Truth of the matter is no, I wasn't worried at all, because what we're looking for is to leverage, to use technology to get the most out of every single person's activity, and that's what's exciting about the opportunities that are in front of us. The other thing that's exciting about the online activism that you guys in this room represent at this particular conference is these people who are up here on the screen. The politicians need to know with irrefutable evidence that we care about this issue, that we're mobilized, that we aren't going away, that this isn't a topic that we're ready to move on from. These are just a handful of the close to 40-some leaders and political leaders who, frankly, to be honest with you, I told my team, I said, you know, we don't have time to do too much with this avatar thing. So, you know, let's just nail down getting people signed up. And thankfully, just a big shout out to Governor Sarah Palin, who came on board and said, you know, I'd really like one of those avatars. And next thing you know, our phone started ringing off the hook, and you can see Governor Huckabee, Michael Steele, John McCain, DeMint, Boehner, they all came aboard, which is exciting because, you know, we hear a lot about our president and his stance against life, but there are some really terrific leaders in the political realm who are willing to take a stand, and we need to support them. I'm going to let Carrie do most of the talking about the Tebow ad. I just want to, you know, say what an honor it was to stand with Focus on the Family, because, you know, it's just fun to see our movement and doing something that's as creative and wonderful as that ad was. I think every single one of us did some sort of debate with Now in the weeks leading up to it. It was fascinating to me. I ended up going up against their VP of Communications. She was advocating censorship, saying, you know, take this ad down. I mean, what kind of liberal value is that? Just a little plug for our online activism. You know, people say to me, how do you have time to do Twitter? I love Twitter. You know, it's you're stuck in line, you're stuck in a cab, you put something quickly up. And then in conclusion, to me, the exciting thing about the pro-life movement is this is the human rights issue of our day. Marjorie already mentioned it, and I just want to second it. It's such an honor to be a part of this movement. We stand in the tradition of men like Abraham Lincoln. it is so important for us to emphasize this at CPAC as we're talking about freedom and liberty. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves. We can't just focus on whether or not we're creating jobs or addressing the stimulus, because without the right to life, you don't have people to take those jobs. Abraham Lincoln, took on the great human rights challenge of his day. We stand, as women here, he was making common cause with Harriet Beecher Stowe. There have been great women throughout history who've stood up for the rights of the least of these. Martin Luther King, civil rights. This is our issue. This is our time. As Marjorie said, we are heading into some really, really critical days. Thank you for showing up here this morning to stand with us. And I just ask you to stay energized, stay excited, because we're going to make a difference in the days ahead.